Hey guys, do you want to make a fall craft with me? I made a few fall crafts this year and I'm going to show you 3 of my favorite. These are the fall crafts that I have in my house currently, and you should be able to find everything that you need for these crafts. I know we're getting into like the Christmas winter season, and it just seems like if you don't get supplies a season ahead, they kind of sell out quickly. But all of these you should be able to find. A lot of them I got from Dollar Tree. I just love finding different supplies there and then seeing what I can come up with. It's been a lot of fun, so that's why I've been using them. You can also find similar products other places. The lights are turning off. Stop! Everyone's home, so I don't know what's gonna happen. This first one is one that I made last year. It's probably my all-time favorite fall craft that I've ever made because it just turned out so cute and I really love it. I got these signs from Dollar Tree. This one says trick or treat, but you can get them for different seasons and they just say different things, but it doesn't really matter because I normally paint them. So I am using 3 of these signs and I'm painting them with the Waverly chalk paint in the color white. And then I just use these paintbrushes that I get from Walmart. I usually do about 2 coats. Just as many coats as it takes to get it nice and covered. I'm doing the fronts and sides. And next I'm taking these pumpkins that I also found from Dollar Tree, and I have 2 different sizes. So these were clips, the other one was just on its own. To paint the pumpkins, I'm using Waverly chalk paint in the colors pumpkin, moss, and white. I'm just going to start by removing that stem, and then I'm going to cut the pumpkins in half just using this little saw that I got from Amazon. Well, I guess I painted these pumpkins, but I didn't show it. I don't know. This pumpkin is already painted. Okay, once they're cut, I'm just using some sandpaper to smooth everything out and make it more level to glue onto our sign. I was going to leave this pumpkin just the color that it was, but I didn't love it, so I am using the white to paint this pumpkin. It just looked a little shiny next to the pumpkins that were painted with the chalk paint. I'm using the Waverly chalk paint in the color truffle to paint the stems. And next I am just going to build a frame using paint stir sticks that I found at Walmart. Just measuring this and cutting all of those sticks to size. Again, using that little saw from Amazon. Once the sticks are cut, I'm just sanding everything so it's nice and smooth. Just using hot glue to glue everything together. I am just gluing the frame right to those 3 signs. This is so easy and I love how this looks. Also super inexpensive. There are a lot of different things that you can make with the sign like this. I'm using some jumbo popsicle sticks from Walmart. I'm gluing those to the back just to add a little more support. I found these wood letters from Hobby Lobby. You can find wood letters from Dollar Tree. I just think that these are a little cuter. And apparently I didn't have 3 P's, so I'm taking an R and just cutting the little tail off and making that a P. You can actually make a lot of things with the wood letters. They come with quite a few pieces. I'm just touching that up with that truffle paint. I always lay out the letters on my sign before I try to just eyeball it and glue them down. Since the letters are so small, I do like to just use super glue to glue those down. And then I'm using hot glue to glue the pumpkins onto the sign. I always want to leave my crafts just the plain wood, but I never like how it looks. So I'm using the Waverly chalk paint in the color hazelnut. And I am just painting that whole frame. And I'm distressing the pumpkins a little. I didn't want them to look too distressed, but I thought that they needed just a little something. So like you can see, I'm just adding a little paint and then kind of wiping any of that excess away so it just leaves a little of that distressing. And that's it for that first craft. Like I said, this might be my favorite craft that I've ever made. I was so excited to get it out and put it on my shelf again this year because I just think it's so cute and so simple. And the total cost of this was like $5. I really can't beat that. I actually really love this next craft too. I found all of these wood pallets at Dollar Tree and I didn't know what I was gonna make with them. The more I looked at them, the more I thought I could make these into pumpkins. There's 2 different sizes. And I also got these wood craft cubes also from Dollar Tree. And I had these sticks left over from last year. I don't know if I got them from Dollar Tree or Hobby Lobby. I'm going to be gluing the 2 pallets together and using the wood cubes to add some dimension and make them a little bigger. With these bigger pallets, I kind of wish that I would have moved them facing the other way so you could see that piece of wood that's securing them all together, just to add a little something to the pumpkins, but I didn't think about that until I was decorating with them actually. Make sure you know what stems you want to use for each pumpkin and where you want them placed before gluing the wood cubes and the pumpkins together. I'm putting one in the middle so that I can glue those wood sticks to that. I'm just doing the same thing with these little pallets, just gluing them together. I didn't use the wood cubes on one of them, and I did use the wood cubes on the other, just again to make them look a little different. I found this craft paint from Walmart and I really like it. It's called Hello Hobby and it is chalk paint. The color that I'm using first is Wild Mushroom. I just thought that this was such a pretty color for fall. For this next one, I'm using that same chalk paint in the color Ivory. I'm painting the front, back, top, and sides of all the pumpkins. I wanted an orange pumpkin, but I didn't want it to be too orange, so I'm taking Waverly chalk paint in the color Pumpkin, and also the Hello Hobby chalk paint in the color Misty Pink. And I'm just adding a little bit of that pink to the orange. And I do like how it turned out. I wish that I would have maybe added a little more pink, but I do like it. Okay, this last one I am using the Waverly chalk paint in the color Moss. I love adding this color to my fall decorations. I just think that it's so pretty. I'm happy with how all the colors turned out. They all look so great together. Such a good fall combo. And once everything is dry, I'm just sanding those just to add a little distressing. Don't mind my garage door opening right now. Like I said, everyone is home, so there's so much going on. We'll wait. Okay, originally I planned on only using one of these sticks for the stem, and then I realized that it wasn't as thick as I wanted it to be, so I just bundled together 3 of the sticks and tied it together using just a little piece of twine. I'm gluing it down using hot glue and securing it to the wood cube in the middle of the pumpkin. I'm using sandpaper to distress the ivory pumpkin. Forgot to show these, but I'm using this other wood stick for our stem, and I did get these from Dollar Tree. They're very hard to find, so if you find them, grab them. There's a lot of different things that you can do with them. I'm also adding 3 to this pumpkin, and I just tried to like stagger those. So I did use my little saw to cut some of those down so that they would be different sizes. I'm using a shorter stick for the green pumpkin stem. I added one of those wood cubes at the top of the pumpkin to glue the stem down to. I don't usually like to add a lot to my crafts, but I thought that they needed something. So I am adding some ribbon. I got this from Dollar Tree. Just adding a little bow, gluing that down with hot glue. And then I'm taking this ribbon that I also got from Dollar Tree, adding a little bow. Just by folding the ribbon to create a bow shape and tying a small piece of twine around the middle to secure it. And again, using hot glue to attach it to the pumpkin. Dollar Tree seriously has the cutest ribbon, and it adds so much to this pumpkin. I'm using raffia to make a bow, wrapping it around my fingers and securing the middle with another piece of raffia. And I'm leaving the ends of the bow a little longer. Once it's hot glued to the pumpkin, I am just going to cut it and shape it a little. You guys will never guess where this berry garland is from. It's from Dollar Tree. I'm using the berries and some twine to make a bow for this last pumpkin. The garland is wired, so I'm wrapping it around the stem and curling those little pieces hanging down on the pumpkin. I mean, have you ever seen cuter little pumpkins? I'll definitely be making more. This is our last craft, and I'm sure that you can guess that it is one of my very favorites. I do love this. I'm so proud of how this turned out. I saw these splatter screen protectors over by like the kitchen stuff, and I originally got them because I thought I could use the frame to make a wreath or something. And the more I kind of messed around with them, the more I thought I could make a pumpkin out of these. So I grabbed a few. I have one without a handle, and then I have 2 with handles. This tulle ribbon is also from Dollar Tree. I have no idea where this ball of wire is from. I'm starting by removing the paper from the screen. I cut the wire into smaller pieces, about 3 to 4 inches. And as you can see, I'm just sliding those through the screen, the mesh, near the frame, so that I can connect my ribbon in between. So you can kind of see it just kind of looped around, and then I'm taking my ribbon and I'm putting it in between and using that wire to secure it just by twisting the two sides together. I'm doing the same thing on the other side. And then I'm folding the ribbon over. And I just kind of played around with the ribbon to see where I liked the placement. And then I'm adding another piece of wire. Again, just sliding that through that screen near the frame. And then I'm taking the ribbon to the back and putting it right in between those two pieces of wire and securing it by twisting it. And then I'm folding the ribbon over the front. So I'm not wrapping it, I'm just folding it towards the front so that that tulle will only be covering the front of the screen. That's just gonna give it that bunchy look and it's going to save a lot of ribbon. So again, I'm just adding that piece of wire to the screen near the frame, securing the ribbon in between those two pieces of wire and twisting that together. And I'm just going to continue doing the same thing. Like I said, just play around with the ribbon, make sure you like where it's laying and that it looks right, it looks nice and full and fluffy. And for the screens with the handle, we're only going to go halfway. So I just took the ribbon just past where the handle is and secured that all together. Make sure that you do half on one side where the handle is and then half on the other screen protector with the handle so that the screen protector without the handle will just lay right in the middle of those two side pieces. I'm just removing the paper and the knob. I know I'll find something to use this knob for, so I'm saving that. I'm doing the exact same thing on the middle screen, starting from the side. I'm sliding that wire through the screen near the frame, placing the ribbon in between the two pieces of wire and twisting the pieces of wire together to secure the ribbon. And just like I did on the sides, I'm folding the ribbon forward instead of wrapping it around the screen. And since this is the middle piece, it will lay on top of everything. So I'm covering the entire screen with ribbon. I'm sure that there are other materials that you could use besides the wire. You could use maybe pipe cleaner or zip ties to do this also to secure it the same way. I just had all of that wire and it was just easier and it lays flat and nice, so that's why I used it. I'm sure you could also hot glue it. How cute is this? This turned out even better than I thought it was going to. Okay, so now I have all three pieces. You can see how those centerpiece will fit right in between those two sides. I'm going to start with our two screen protectors with the handles, and I'm sliding those together, and then I'm going to secure those together with some wire. Just wrapping it around the frame and between the screen until it feels nice and secure. You want to make sure the ribbon is on the outside and that the handles are on the bottom so that it will hold the pumpkin up. Gently folding those handles over to create a stand for the pumpkin. And once that is secure, we're going to secure our middle piece on. Again, just using some wire to secure that to those other pieces. The same way, I'm just wrapping it around the frame and securing it to our other two pieces. Just going through that screen. And I'm doing that on the top and bottom. I wrapped it around quite a few times to make sure it felt solid, like it was one piece. I decided to make a stem out of the middle of those ribbon pieces. But first I'm going to add some raffia. I'm using a small piece of wire at the bottom of the middle screen. And I'm placing the raffia in between, making sure that it's right in the middle of that piece of raffia and twisting the wire to secure it. I'm putting the raffia along the sides of the middle screen. And I'm securing that at the top using the ends of the wire on the back. I'm adding more raffia using the ends of the wire. And I'm taking it down both sides, just using that leftover wire along each side. I'm adding a little more raffia at the top using another wire. I must have just really been determined to make this whole craft using only wire. Then I decided to add a little more to that middle piece, just on those sides. I mean, how dang cute does that raffia look? I found this mesh rope and also this eucalyptus stem at Dollar Tree. And I'm just wrapping that mesh rope around that cardboard piece from the middle of the ribbon by using just a little hot glue. This is going to be our stem. And then I'm just cutting off little pieces of this eucalyptus. This color is so pretty. I'm always so impressed with the different floral stems at Dollar Tree. I'm shockingly using hot glue instead of wire to glue the eucalyptus to the top of the pumpkin, just wherever I think it looks good. The stem was looking a little big, so I decided just to kind of pinch that together, just kind of squish it together and glue it so that it would be a little more flat. And then I'm just using hot glue to glue it to the back and adding a little more eucalyptus. Love this, but I did feel like it needed a little something. So I'm adding some of this ribbon from Dollar Tree, just making a little bow. Just a simple bow, just folding it over and then securing it in the middle and then just gluing that to the stem. And that is it. I love telling everyone I made this pumpkin out of potlets because it is just so adorable. The total cost of this pumpkin was like $6. Each of these craft ideas are so inexpensive and so fun to make. Besides the pumpkins, nothing is really seasonal, so hopefully you'll be able to find everything. If you do make any of these crafts, I would love to see them, so please tag me if you make any on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, or wherever else there is to post these days. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye!